Hello friends, it's time for our Thursday science experiment. For today's experiment you will need it says a pan, but all my pans are dirty, so we're doing a pot, a small one. Sugar, I have some measured out right here, this is sugar. A cup of water, and then this is where it gets kind of weird. So you can either use, I have a tall glass right here, and then I used a pencil with a string on it with some tape to hold the string in place. But you can also use a clothespin instead of a pencil to hold the top, and you can use a wooden skewer. I didn't have a wooden skewer, but those actually would work probably a little bit better, but we're going to use string because that's what I have. Before you start, you have to put your string or your wooden skewer in your cup and make sure that there's about an inch left of space on the bottom. Okay, so I had to cut my string a little bit to make sure that it wasn't too long. Alright, then after you've measured it and made sure that your wooden skewer or your string has about an inch of space from the bottom, you can go ahead and take that part out. We're going to start by putting 1 cup of water into our pot. And I'm going to turn it up high because we're going to boil our water. Alright, stay tuned, we're going to wait for that to boil. Alright friends, we are boiling now, so the next step is to add 1/4 cup of sugar. Make sure as you're doing this part, a grown-up is helping you. Hot water is dangerous. Once you get that 1/4 cup of sugar in there, you're going to stir until that sugar dissolves. So you can see those grains in there. You're trying to get it so hot that the sugar dissolves into the water and you can't see those grains anymore. So keep stirring, keep stirring. Starting to disappear a little bit. Alright, looks like it's just about dissolved now. I don't see any more of those grains. So this is where the experiment gets kind of tricky. What you're going to do next is you're going to keep slowly adding sugar. You're going to keep on adding sugar until it won't dissolve anymore. So this part could take a while, but this is an important part to the project, and I'll explain why at the end. So I'm going to keep adding sugar. Stir it. And you're going to repeat this until you can't even dissolve it, and there's grains in the bottom that won't go away. The one thing I did to speed up the crystal formation is I took my string, or if you have a skewer, take your skewer, I dipped it carefully into my solution. And then I actually dipped it into some solid sugar, and you can kind of see, it's kind of blurry, but you can kind of see there's already some crystals forming on the end of my string. Okay, so as I'm letting it cool for 20 minutes, you can notice that mine's blue. I did add some food coloring, so if you want your rock candy to be a color, go ahead and add some food coloring. It says the darker the food coloring, the better. Alright, after it's been at least 20 minutes, you can kind of see it crystallizing on the top. You're going to have a grown-up go ahead and carefully pour the solution into your glass, making sure it goes close to the top so that it's touching either your skewer or your string, okay? Now you can see, it's kind of hard to see the string, but there it is in the water. It looks a little syrupy now, and it takes 3 to 7 days to start to see results, to start to see the crystals form. So the science behind this is that you're making what's called a very concentrated solution of water and sugar when you're boiling those together, but it's so concentrated, there's so much sugar in that water that it can only melt or be separated, go together when it's really, really hot, okay? So that's the only way it can actually come together and form this solution is when it's super, super hot. So as it starts to cool, the sugar is going to separate from the water, and the sugar is going to attach itself to any surfaces it can find. So it's going to attach itself to our string or our skewer, and then we might even see some crystals form on the sides. So keep this somewhere in a safe place and watch it for the next 3 to 7 days and see when your rock candy forms.